If you're new here, follow button. Look, I'm not going to go through all of that again. For one reason, I don't want to keep our guests waiting, and number two, treat it like a scavenger hunt. Look around the stream, look around the screen, look at all the little things, all the little trinkets and all the little buttons and whistles below in the about section. There should be a YouTube link, there should be a Twitter link, there should be a way that you can submit your own performance if you're a musician or a comedian or a magician. Anything, your local talent, you want some people to see your stuff, there's a submissions tab down there with an email for me, so go ahead and use that. What else can you find laying around? Well, you can see the poster of what's going on tonight. Tonight, my guest, Davit Souders. You can see him up there on deck in the on deck circle. Here, let's bring him up. Let's give him some color. Let's give him a color shot. There we go. Bam! Pigtailed. You know why? Because he's gangsta. That's why. Let's see. Schedule, support. All of this is just stuff that you guys can find around here. So first of all, a little dose, a little taste. I'm gonna make a little intro to our guy up there on deck, and then we're gonna watch a little trailer that he has been gracious enough to share with us, and then we're gonna get into talking to the CEO and founder of Diabolical Productions and the host of Home Groan. What else? Hometown Heroes. This man has done more for the local scene than, you know, if he had disciples, this guy would be like the Jesus of local music, like just spreading the word, the love, the good, all that. He just needs 12 followers, man, in leather jackets, and he'd have it done. My guest tonight is none other than Davit Souders, and that interview begins in 3, 2, and 1. Yep, it's playing. Okay.
Microphone muted.
You tell him I'm coming, and hell's coming with me, you hear? Hell's coming with me! I'm back.
Bad news is mic's working.
Yay!
Yay.
Deja vu.
Looks like Jesus is here, or Alexis. Fluffy Flipper. I'm sorry. Actually, it wasn't you, Fluffy Flipper, but thank you so much. Welcome to Public Access Live. Live. With all the problems live. My guest tonight is none other... Oh, the old man glasses. None other than David Souders. The list of accolades is as long as my well-maintained forearm. Musician.
Correct, sir.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Technically,
you're a lead. Technically, you're a lead singer.
Let's come back to that because I got a great story to tell you regarding that very analogy.
Go on.
So we do it now?
Oh, dude, we can just. This is an organic conversation that just
So the
leads us
question is
to
yes,
leads us to a point where you get to just basically spam everything good that's about to come from you.
You were kind of doing an intro, so I didn't want to stop you, but with that point, yes, I'm a singer, I'm a vocalist, and sometimes people that play instruments make a distinction. I get that. Many years ago, when my first band, we were in high school and going into college, and one of the guys pointed out that you're a vocalist, not a musician. Got it. Understood the distinction, and they're however you want to splice it up, fine with me. But years later, I was at a club in Tulsa afterwards. The lights had come up, and there was a guy that played music going around to all these empty tables, grabbing drinks and throwing them back. And I looked at him because it was kind of gross. And he looks at me and he goes, "I'm a musician." And I thought, oh, that's the difference.
Oh, yeah. There's a certain amount of depression you get from... why?
I understood at that time the distinction between musicians and singers. And I'm just joking because as a singer and a front person, I can't really do my thing without the other guys. And they're very important to me, seriously. But there you have it.
This is the distinction. A lead singer, basically, or a singer that just stands up there and plays tambourine, basically, he's the guy that gets the tail, right? And then the guys who have applied themselves to an instrument for years and years and years don't. And so that's why you see them drunk, because they are depressed because they're like, I thought, it's like the 12th guy who stepped on the moon. You don't remember his name. And he thought he had a pretty good life going. He's like, I went to the moon. What else I got to do to get some recognition around here?
Well, the reality is, let's take Led Zeppelin. Robert Plant will get a few more covers, covers of magazines, but it doesn't negate John Bonham's or John Paul Jones or Jimmy Page's talent at all. But sometimes as the front person, but you're inferring that the singer hasn't worked as hard through the years as his craft as the other musicians.
I'm just saying, Daltrey
but
gets
together
up.
They come together like the states in a country, like the 50 states. We all have our characteristics, but we come together to make us one strong nation. Did you want to put down some singers some more?
I just wanted to say, Daltrey comes out there swinging his microphone, right? And all, throw the panties on the stage and all that. Keith Moon had to drive his car into a swimming pool to get that kind of attention. You see what I'm saying?
No.
Oh, jeez. Hey, Zeus, thank you so much for being here. Appreciate you guys. Mr. Souders is...
Are you done with your intro? Did we just went off?
We had an intro?
Well, something.
Oh, man.
This is take 2 in any case.
Yeah.
So proceed, sir.
There's no
if you will.
outline. Tell us something good. Tell us something that you've been working on as we've all been... Most of us have been locked away, left to our thoughts. What did your thoughts tell you that you're going to be about to do here?
Well, we have been, and I'm excited, as you had, the viewers hopefully had seen the trailer, and the trailer for many years. One of the shows I presented is, as you'll see on the trailer, the list of just local shows that I've presented through the years, podcast and radio shows, and one of them was called Home Groan, which I did for many years on a local radio station. Now I'm doing the Home Groan Tulsa podcast, which again will feature all local music. Obviously, always a healthy selection of Tulsa area musicians, but musicians throughout Oklahoma. And I've said this for years, and it's still true. We have some of the best music in the country and the world, and I will prove it every single week by just simply playing what we've got here. So we'll start, looks like we'll be recording the shows every Sunday, and then they'll be out either that day, but weekly. We'll give you updates on that, but it'll be on YouTube, on Facebook, and Twitch, and some other outlets. But I'm just excited about it because it's always near and dear to my heart, and I like to present the locals and give spotlights on that, and I'm jumping back in to do that on a weekly basis. So I'm extraordinarily excited. And the difference is, instead of it being just a podcast or just a radio show broadcast, it's going to be the video cast and the whole thing. So it'll be like just like this show, you'll be kind of like a fly on the wall. And we'll be talking about the locals and just playing the music. It'll be like me doing my radio show, but with video. So I'm very, very excited about the prospect, and it's all coming together quite nicely. And I hope you like the trailer.
Do you believe in
Santa Claus, yes. And, go ahead.
the Tulsa sound?
Yes. The Tulsa sound.
Do you believe in it as a distinct musical style, or do you believe in every style has a touch of Tulsa in it that's made here? Like, there's a Tulsa sound for rap, there's a Tulsa sound for country, there's a Tulsa sound for rock.
Clearly, if it's from Tulsa and it's made in Tulsa, then it's a Tulsa sound.
Right.
Now, when they refer to the classic Tulsa sound, that was, of course, all the great legends that came from Tulsa. And I don't want to leave out anybody's name, but of course, Leon Russell and J.J. Cale, and on and on and on. Again, Dwight Twilley, David Gates from Bread. Anyway, we've got an incredible history from Oklahoma and the Tulsa area. But what became known as the Tulsa sound in the 70s
Is it still present?
was incredible. But I believe some misguided folks think the Tulsa sound ended in 1979. And I'm here to tell you it didn't. The Tulsa sound is still alive and well. Whether it's red dirt, rock, country, rap, Celtic, anything, mariachi, if it's in Tulsa, it's the Tulsa sound. And again, I can say all this and talk the talk, but I walk the walk every week with the show. Tie it in. But it's really true, and I'll prove it every week. You just have to watch and listen. So there you go. So yes, it's still alive and vibrant and still moving forward and moving up, and it's always done that. And we've got the history to back it up, and the present and the future.
What are you the most excited about, though? Like, do you go out and source local music, or do you just pretty much count on what people are brave enough to send you to play on your show? Do you go out? Do you go out and listen?
I don't.
Do you go to live shows?
I don't particularly go out. And in my career, I think I've said this to you before, but it's true. I have the same different views.
I hope it's true.
Different views of the same room. Meaning,
Right.
as a vocalist, I've been a concert promoter, big local concerts, national concerts. Anyway, it gives me different views of the same room, is what I'm trying to get at. And so I don't necessarily go out to really that often to look for bands for the show. I get a lot of stuff. I like to stay in the vibe of what's knowing. But as much as music as I get, there's always somebody new, or there's somebody playing in town that we just haven't crossed paths, and that always keeps it exciting for me. My job is not to be judgmental so much as present the locals. That's why the shows I've done, and I guess I'll go through the list a little bit. Home Groan, the radio show, Local Flavors, the radio show, Hometown Heroes, the podcast, and other things I've done. The one thing is I like to play a variety. Mainly it's rock, because that's most of what I get, but I do. You will hear me feature reggae music from our part of the world, which is outstanding. Mariachi music, blues, and all that. I think that's how I service our music the best, is to present a pretty good variety of what we've got here, and that's what I continue to do.
How much do people? I mean, you've always been kind of the go-to guy. Do you still get a pretty steady stream of, hey, if you get a show together?
Always, yeah.
Hey man, I've got this track, and like, you still got people like trying to grease your palm a little bit with some music, and
Well, they're always giving me music, and the point is,
you're gonna be like the local vault man.
Well, I do. I have a massive collection of local music. I don't know who to compare it to, but I may have one of the largest collections of local music through CDs and going back to cassettes and MP3s and everything, because it's, when you've been doing this for years, I've got a very massive collection.
You've let go of some tasty things. You sent me some for the Scottish Festival website. You sent me some icon buttons. You sent me a painted orange T-shirt, and I think you a Dave Lawn. I think you gave me a Dave Lawn up there, and maybe a Tony Romanella that I didn't have.
Maybe so.
I think all of
believe
that.
If I'm giving that to you, I've got other copies.
Oh yeah.
Because I feel like I'm kind of a curator of.
Dude, I'm proud of my stuff. I've got Radiant and Traveler and some Hero Factor up there.
Yeah.
Some Ben Rector.
All
some
great
Ben
stuff.
Rector.
And that's another thing I like to do with the show. I like to mix new releases with stuff from through the years. I've always liked to give a mix EL, so you might hear something from 88 or 96 or 2004 and current, but that's what I felt my job is to present it. So hopefully, seems like through the years people have liked how I present local music, and hopefully they still will. So that's the whole
Have you ever
point.
thought about doing a live show?
Well, we did do a
Like
we
a
did-
homegrown, like say it like Donnie's place over here on 18th, like venue shrine, where you have like local acts, but you're also doing your podcast live from there as well.
Well, I did do a in I think in 98, 99, we did a show called Homegrown Live, and that followed Homegrown when we were on the radio station, and it was 30 minutes of a local band live from the Cain's Ballroom. Now on NPR they do a live from Cain's Ballroom, but we were doing it many years before that with the locals. It was 30 minutes of a local band. So yes, we did do that, and it was fun putting that together.
Jesus says we need some Oklahoma reggae.
We've got it. There's great. One of the classic reggae bands from Oklahoma is maybe he was joking, but it's.
Well,
it's
he's not from this state. He
Gotcha.
is American.
Well, tell him there's a great band that was around for 20 plus years. I think they still get together for special occasions, called Local Hero. And there's Sam and the Stylies. And we've had really surprisingly great reggae music. And there's quite a few people that have actually live in Tulsa from Jamaica area, and they don't have to be Jamaican to play great reggae music. But those are two bands through the years that are represent reggae great. So it's real. It's real. Was that Jesus? Did you say?
His screen name is Jesus All Up In Me.
Jesus, all up in you.
Because-
and we've got reggae music to be all up in you.
I don't know if that's how he pronounces it, but it's tough for me to say Jesus All Up In You. So I just say Jesus automatically.
Gotcha.
I don't know
With the program.
what his intention was, but ever since he's been in my channel, I call him Jesus.
Gotcha. Very
It's
good.
just tough for me, man.
And you said something about my braids earlier. And
Yes.
all the reason why I bring that up is because I'm clearly going for the look like every soccer mom in the continental United States. That's all. I'm not saying I'm comparing myself to them. Most of them are very attractive. I just that's if we're gonna go for something easy. Hey Dave, every soccer mom called, they want their look back. Except they don't have this, and most of them don't.
No,
But-
the joke was, I'm in a Muslim metal band. We get our lyrics from the Quran and scream them over death metal riffs. Just,
Great. Huh.
I hope that's not. I hope that's true. Oh, Jesus lived in Bricktown. Oh, you were in OKC? I didn't know that. All right, fella. All
I
right,
know your
Jesus.
people. But, that's another thing is I've been doing local music and working with locals, well, since I was young,
Do-
but...
have
Oh, go
you-
ahead. I'm sorry. Did I?
Yeah,
I didn't mean to...
No, I didn't mean to interrupt your
Sorry,
story.
no, I didn't mean to...
Yeah, I
I
didn't
didn't-
mean
no.
to. I didn't mean to
What if-
actually do an interview
what
here.
if-
But have you ever thought about putting down like a?
Is this 60 minutes?
Have you ever thought about doing a template where you can show?
I'm doing one right now.
Were
I'm
you-
in the middle of doing a template right now as we speak.
Where you show people in other states, like set up an outline, like if you want to start a homegrown Kansas or a homegrown Iowa or a homegrown Ohio, if you want to start your own, this is how I did it. Have you ever thought about? Because of course you could expand, but you've stayed and kept your focus on your hometown because of your love for it.
Well, it's. I thought years ago it'd be weird to live in Lawrence, Kansas, and do homegrown Tulsa. 3, 2, 1. No, actually, on occasion, and I will plan to do this now. We've done a section of feature where we do homegrown artist, and I might feature a city and play 3 tracks from that city. So, in a sense, I've kind of brought those into our show as a feature. I always think of stuff, or I've done themes, which I'm going to bring all these themes back. Under the Covers, where we feature local bands doing cover versions. Heavy Hitters, where we play bands that play heavier music. So
Wait,
I like
what's the name of the cover segment?
Under the Covers.
Under the Covers.
Yeah. Cover me, cover this, cover up, cover girl.
No, it's a perfect between the sheets joke. It's one.
Could be. I don't think like that, so I don't.
Oh, how dare you, sir? How dare you throw shade on me?
And you were 2 sheets to the wind. 3, 2, 1.
Let me
Yes.
I can't help but keep staring at this book.
Shall we bring this up?
Are you ready to talk about that?
I am ready. The first take that we started the show, and then the second take with the microphones on, I'm ready. So I'm there. I'm there for you.
He deserved a much better host than he got tonight. That's true. I'm glad.
Well, look what you
everything's-
got for a guest. You got
So
a man trying to look like a soccer mom. Tell me with this look, I have not been in quarantine for months. Okay, send help.
Ladies and gentlemen,
They've all been killed.
on a very special
God.
return episode of Public Access Live, we found them. It is really true. There are male Karens in this world. The first male Karen.
What is the milk? What is this?
You don't know what a Karen is?
Oh, I'm sorry. No, I guess I'm just not with the lingo here.
He's not one then. You didn't hear it here. Would you like to talk about this book?
I sure would. I'm really excited about this. I'm looking at the video, but it's delayed a little bit there, so bear
All
with
right.
me. This is a great new book on the history of Kane's Ballroom from 1923
Right
to
here in Tulsa.
19 for the first 75 years, 1999, and 1924 to 1999, and it's written by two outstanding guys, John Woolley and Brett Bingham, and they are awesome guys. Can you guys see that? Okay, are they looking at that right?
This is definitely an all things Tulsa.
It is, and
Episode
Kane's
of
Ballroom.
Public Access.
If you guys don't know about Kane's Ballroom, it's
Google
a
it.
world famous venue here in town. Again, been around since 1924, and everybody from Hank Williams Sr. to the Sex Pistols to U2, Foo Fighters. On and on. I mean, the list of people that have played there is phenomenal. And there's not a lot of venues around the world today that have had that long a history. There are some, but Kane's Ballroom in Tulsa, Oklahoma is one of those venues. And this right here is the definitive history of the first 75 years. And the guys that put this together really, really worked hard. The book also's got lots of great photos and posters from shows. And my history with Kane's goes back to my first band, sold out the Canes in the early 80s, and then years later my first huge concert at Canes was in 1990 that I brought to town, was the band Ministry, and then I ended up working and running the Canes Ballroom as a I was one of two talent buyers along with Larry Schaefer and the production manager. So I've had a long history with Canes, and I'm not just pushing this book because there's a nice section of my time in there, which is humbling. I can sit here and talk about all the things I've done, but when someone else thinks it's important enough to put it in a book or have you on an interview, it's pretty humbling and pretty cool. And this book in the first week already sold on Amazon alone, I understand, like 5,000 copies. So I'm just excited about it because it's a great history if you want to learn about Kane's Ballroom.
Pictures?
And,
Are there
and if you can bear
pictures?
through the part where it talks about my period and when I spent there, that's cool. But I learned a lot from the book, so that's my 2 cents on the birth. And again, we should say the title of the book, by the way.
Honky Tonk. 20th century honky tonk. The amazing.
Let me show you how you do this.
Okay.
20th century honky tonk.
I don't do products.
But anyway, it's
You know what,
great,
though?
and I was excited because I'm kind of a bit of a music history buff, and certainly when I was at Canes, people would stop by during the day when the Canes wasn't there wasn't concert, but they wanted to tour the Canes, and you get people that it was the home of Bob Wills and the Texas Playboys, home of Western Swing, but you've got those people that come there and the people that want to go because it was one of the few dates that the Sex Pistols played on their original tour, one of 7 dates. And everything before, between, after that, it's still a vibrant venue, and it is spectacular. So that's my 2 cents on that. But that's one of the things that came out just recently during these times, and it's a good read. And so I was excited just to be involved with that. And they actually, when I did interviews for this book, I actually ran out of stuff to say, and so I don't even know. That must have been 18
something.
days in a row, but it was exciting to be involved with that in any case.
Had-
I also know there's a documentary on the Canes Ballroom in the works as well called Raising Canes. So there's a lot of exciting things going on from our little part of the world, Tulsa, Oklahoma. And
Speaking of Tulsa history, watching the news today made me flash. Oh, I can't
What
have
were you?
that. I was going to say, there's a lot of like event posters in here and
Yeah.
things. Do you?
And I got to contribute some from my collections as well. But it was really cool to learn a lot of stuff, and I thought I knew most of everything, but there was a lot to read, and it's cool book. So
Yeah. No. It's a great book. Do you have a lot of them? And how do you store them? Do you
Have
have
what?
like cardboard with old
talking about books.
no posters?
Oh, I have
show posters.
I have
Any
massive collection of show posters.
any of them that
Massive.
you don't keep with the rest of the collection, like you keep it out because you like it so much. Like you got
Well-
stacks, but is there a couple?
Well,
you got
I wish I
framed?
knew we're gonna. I've got some great photos. My office, Diabolical Productions. My office has got posters on the ceilings, on the walls, and throughout the building, throughout the place. And there's still more room. I mean, I could do like an art gallery and change them out every so often. I'm not going to do that, but I've got thousands of posters. And I've got, when I was a kid, all my posters I had, Led Zeppelin, The Who, Cheap Trick. I still have all those too.
I take cheap.
I am an archives guy, at least archives for my life. So,
Yeah, it's like a record collection.
oh yeah,
A record collection isn't a collection of music. It's a collection of your life. It's like, oh man,
absolutely. That's a good point.
I on this particular rainy day right after she broke up with me, I bought this album. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it might not be in alphabetical order. It might be over here at the by itself. But you're like, I know
That,
it's a collection of memories.
let me say that also going back to the local music and and I've got massive CDs and music, and of course I'm a Spotify fanatic. But another thing about getting prepped to bring Home Groan back as a podcast was going back through my music collection and refamiliarizing myself, because every week I was going through it, but since I hadn't done the local music show for a little while, to come back and do it, it was nice to revisit all that and just again, I didn't need reminding, but I did remind myself how incredible collection of music that we've got and still continue to. And
I'm super happy that. Had you noticed on social media just how many Tulsa musicians were out there just kind of like, I don't care that I'm stuck at home, I'm going to buy a camera or use my phone or whatever, and I'm going to keep making music for people. Lydell, he couldn't play the chalkboard show downtown. That dude was out on the sidewalk when people were doing their curbside pickup. He was playing on the curb, man.
Well, and
like
that's, I mean,
everybody was out there trying to. Hector, everybody was trying to get out. Mercury Lounge, actually, they had their place shut down, but on Friday nights they would let the musicians come in and use their stage, and they live streamed it on their Facebook channel.
Well, and that's what I mean. The one of the many good things that's come out of the difficulties of dealing with COVID-19 and quarantine is it's making many people find other ways to do and present things, whether it's restaurants and having to go total takeout or curbside service, to musicians, to I don't want to leave anybody else, but it's made us all kind of having to think certainly outside the COVID-19 box, if you will.
Yeah.
And so that's exciting. And I've always, presenting music or things, I've always found a thrill of thinking outside the box. And to me, thinking outside the box doesn't mean you have to go way outside the box, but little things. I've performed on a rooftop just to do it down to the street for the people, and things like that.
A la U2 Streets of No Name.
Yeah, or originally the Beatles kind of hit it big with the documentary "Let It Be" when their last performance. But I mean, a lot of bands have done that, but it's exciting. Or we perform on a
Is it bad enough
on
I
a
call out-
flatbed truck moving through downtown Tulsa every year.
Oh yeah.
And
That's
to
part of
me, it's fun doing club dates. I sure love that, but I also get a thrill of thinking outside the box and things. So this is, just like you've said, the examples. It's cool to see people everywhere find other ways to present their music and everything. And it's just, I love it because, again, it's forces us all to kind of think, oh, how can I do this?
Where's the perfect intersection for you? Because I've heard you play with Team Galaxy.
Mhm.
So I know your selection. I know kind of, it seems like what you have fun singing. And then I've also been like, well, I was at Icon and I know what you were booking there. And I've been to shows at Cain's and I know what you were booking there. And I've listened to Home Groan and I know what you play there. And it's like, it's all over the place. There's not like one particular. Oh, he likes rock music. Oh, well, he likes rockabilly. Oh, well, he likes some classic. Oh, no. Everything is like. Is there like a perfect intersection? What is your favorite song? Where does all of those different varieties intersect?
I've just always had an interest in those different areas. Again, it comes back to different views of the same room, if you will.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the I think the thrill for me as a singer. I love singing. I've been in bands where we've done just heavier original music, kind of a la the band Helmet type stuff or Rollins band, and then again I do where we do rocked up holiday music. And
yeah, but you don't really.
I like singing Elvis music. I like,
Yeah, you got a good voice. It's not like you sit there and growl at the mic the whole time. Like you actually sing.
Well, I appreciate that a lot. But I do, especially after everything you were saying about
Singers suck.
No,
hey,
but
hey, have you heard the one about what do you know what a stripper does with her asshole before she goes to work?
I don't think like that, so I don't know.
Drops him off at band practice.
Yeah. But yeah, I just sometimes I guess the old catchphrase "variety is the spice of life." I don't know. I just know I like different areas, and I've been able to present different things as I like them, whether as a performer or a
Do you
concert
have a
organizer.
favorite though, or is it or
My
are
favorite-
you a favorite?
for different reasons.
Other than Daltrey, I think just if you're gonna, and you may not.
Well,
but
are you
if-
talking as a singer, or
Yeah.
I guess that's what I'm asking. What area? How are you?
What do you listen to in your car? That would be it. What do you listen to in your car? Because that's, I'm gonna be in the car. I'm gonna be in there 10 minutes. I don't have a lot of time, so.
I'll listen to Robert Plant, The Who, Helmet, Ministry.
Okay.
I've been really since being on quarantine. It's Ministry has a great album, Ministry and Co-Conspirators, doing covers, and they do Mississippi Queen and Bang a Gong, and it's just, if you know the band Ministry and Al Jorgensen, they hit heavy, and I thought it was kind of music for the potential apocalypse we've been kind of dealing with. So I've been like obsessing on that particular CD, but I've also been listening to Hank Williams Sr. So I just kind of go through a mood or what
I ran out
don't
of
know.
new music, and because everybody's on quarantine, they're not really making any new music, right?
Yep.
So, Bridges of Sigh,
Oh yeah, Robin Trower.
like on repeat, just couldn't get enough of it one day. It was like amazing, and then for some reason, out of nowhere, I was like, "Do you know what I want to listen to now? Sonic Temple." It just went
Well, that's
straight to
kinda
the
what I go
cult,
through.
and I was like, "What is wrong with me?"
Or I will spend a week or so and I'll just obsess on one thing. Like I'll decide I want to listen to nothing but Led Zeppelin for the week, or Rollins Band, or Black Flag, or Helmet, or on and on and on, or again Cheap Trick. I just obsess on
Or some Velvet Lou Reed.
or I want to listen to the music, the releases in the order they came out. I just find different ways to entertain myself. And I still buy tons of books on all these artists. I like reading about the music industry. I like reading about, I'm what I call an active fan. All of my favorites, I will still, even when I was a kid or today, I buy books, and whether it's biographies or just stuff on the bands, or I also like history, reading on Winston Churchill stuff. But I just continually jump back into all my interest. That's just my thing.
Where you at right now?
I'm right here. What do you? No, how do you mean specifically?
If everything works in a cycle, like what's your cycle at right now? Hey, every time you get ready to do a project, like we've been talking, you've got a project coming up. Is there like the Rocky music for you? You got some Eye of the Tiger or something that gets you, like when you're working on your trailer, or you're trying to get a hold of somebody that I mean, you got like what's the music that day?
Again, it just depends on the mood. If I wake up, or
I set the mood. I gave you context.
well, no, but I'm saying I don't.
Okay.
I don't
okay.
have
Cut. First positions, everybody.
places, people. But
You really just you never know ahead of time what you're.
no, I might go to bed at night and go, I want to finish listening to whatever. Like I said, if I'm doing a collection from some artist or something like that, or I'm not dancing around your question. I'm trying to answer it.
Can I ask you a question?
No.
Because I've been retelling this
I'm
story.
through with questions.
I've been retelling this story
One
for
more question.
a very long time, and I need
Yeah.
some corroboration.
Okay.
Maybe you might know something because
Don't ask me to lie.
you're the guy who knows stuff.
I'm the
So-
guy trying to look like a soccer mom, which I'm failing horribly. So I apologize.
If you
to
have
all
a
soccer
question,
moms.
if you have a question for the soccer mom about music, because that's basically his life. He eats music.
What were you going to ask?
Robin Trower's Bridges of Sight. What I heard, and I've heard for years from the same source, was that he was in prison and that they wouldn't let him have a guitar, and he wrote the album in his head. When he came out, he recorded it. Is that true?
I have never heard that, so I don't know if it's true or false. I didn't say I know everything.
Well, you would be my go-to guy.
I can tell you what
if I had one.
toothpaste Elvis used to use.
See, if it was a Rick D, Casey Kasem, I don't. If it was anything.
Casey.
Well, if it was anything musical and it was my phone call on Millionaire, I would probably call you.
Well, then we would have lost with the Robin Trower question.
Not have to guess. We could have won.
Yeah.
I might have made a really good guess.
Yeah, true.
How do we package what? So we're just going to tell people that Homegrown's coming back. The Homegrown Tulsa podcast is coming back.
It's in. We're committed.
It's going to have its own Twitch channel.
Yep.
It,
We'll have it
how-
on
how
YouTube
it- how
and
it's
Facebook,
util-
if they will in fact have us.
how it's utilized.
And it was, by the way, it's going to be an hour. We're just doing an hour. Just don't want to push our luck, but we'll start doing an hour if for some reason I want to expand it. But right now, we made a decision to do an hour
Yeah, just a.
just to present it. We're just kind of getting our musical feet wet once again, if you will. But and I've got plenty of music, so that's the least of the problems. And we'll start encouraging locals to, of course, send their music. But I still get pretty good.
Is it
flow of
going
that.
to? Are you going to? Because I noticed the Homegrown logo, that big red kind of.
That's the new
square,
logo.
Yeah, the new logo and sort of the very party political comrade hat. I don't know. There's a lot of red. Do people have?
Soccer mom, not political.
Do people have to worry that you're going to be presenting as a Bernie bro because you got this whole communist vibe going?
No, but I'll
red Chinese thing happening.
It's funny you
You've
should
got
say
your
that
eyes
because-
covered, the pigtails. It's all Chinese pop culture now, isn't it?
Well, let me explain. It's funny you should mention that. Strangely enough, because as there were two guys that for years and years and years, and you can put in, but the two guys that for years did my posters, my branding, if you will, came out with the Diabolical Productions logo, my business cards, buttons, T-shirts. You get the idea. They were two great guys from Tulsa. One's Kelly McFadden. He used to go by Full Bleed Graphics or KMC. He's now works for Disney Pixar. The other guy who I've known since 7th grade, and they're two of the coolest guys I've ever known in my life. I've known lots of folks. I hope that makes them important, but they're just, I'm a better person for having them in my life as friends. The other guy is a guy named David Fallis, and he's been a award-winning, no joke, award-winning journalist for the Washington Post for 20-some years. But years ago, when he still lived in Tulsa, he used to do my posters, and their posters are incredible, and they're not dated. They all still look really cool.
I think everything retro's cool.
Well, but it doesn't have a retro. Their art was so good that the posters, you can look them up online. I see them on sale all the time. But anyway, so I thought, bringing the show back, I just started with Kelly, and I sent him a message. Hey, could you have any time, Mr. Disney Pixar, to could you do a logo for the new show? And 2 hours later, he sent that logo. And he used to kind of do stuff with Russian propaganda ideas. And he said, I don't know if that's still cool. And I said, anything you do is going to be cool.
Yeah.
And he kind of went with that path, and I love it. So it's funny.
The
you
more
would mention that.
red stars and sickles, the better.
But it's not a political statement. It's just
There's just not a contrary position presented. It's just a soul focused.
There was a great graphics guy years ago from Russia, and his name was Rodchenko. Went by Rodchenko. You should look him up. And Kelly particularly would do a lot of our advertising based on some of his artwork, and I love the guy, Rodchenko.
If that's your taste, man, I'm not trying to shame you for it.
It was funny you mentioned that because.
But if you got some
Kelly had brought that up specifically and said, "Well, I don't know if that's still cool. And I said, anything you do is going to be cool. So
If you got some old like Yes posters, or maybe an Anderson, Bruford, Wegman and Howe, I'd have that. I love Yes art.
do you? Pretty
Yes.
cool stuff.
It's almost like Magic the Gathering cards.
Yeah, yeah, there you go. That's cool. But yeah, lots of artworks, and there used to be a great. I don't know if they did the Yes covers, but the company in the '70s that did all the cool Led Zeppelin covers, and lots of people call Hypnosis, and they did all the cool photography and album art, all those complicated albums with the twisty things on them.
Do you remember the movie Xanadu? Olivia Newton-John.
Well, I didn't love it like you did,
But I loved it.
but
But you know what I'm talking about.
no.
Oh, you've never
Yes,
seen it.
I know.
Okay, so the male lead in the movie is one of those guys who takes album covers and he paints like bigger versions to hang in
don't remember
record
that.
stores.
I didn't remember that.
Don't you remember ever going to Peaches and they had these massive
Yes,
versions
but-
of the albums?
Yeah, that, but I
So-
didn't remember.
so
and
this sad-
Xanadu, the guy who did those.
Okay, so this sad sack in the movie, that's his job, is doing like painting other people's work like massively because they would hang him on wires, and these people. Well, I guess we were the one that had Peaches, right?
No, Peaches was national chain.
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Peaches.
I love that place.
And they used to have the Peaches was a big chain record store that had 8 tracks and albums
Eight.
and cassettes for many years, and it was all over the
Clank.
country. I don't know if it was just in the U.S., but it was all over. And they had like these old wooden crates for your albums, and it had the logo on there and little crates, and they had everybody needed to have a Peaches T-shirt.
Oh.
They were kind of like the what do they call the baseball jerseys?
Yeah. With the sleeves.
Yeah,
it
yeah,
was
yeah.
like white body with the
So.
with the colored sleeves. Plus, they had their own. And Earl saved most of that. They blocked around it or lifted it and took it and framed it in somewhere else. But we had like our own Grumman's Chinese Theater where
Well,
actually
all of them would do that.
Like
this was
Oreo-
a national thing that
like REO Speedwagon had their hands out front.
lots of. I used to go to a couple of those as a kid. I've always been fascinated with
Jay
musical
Giles
records.
band.
Yeah. A lot of them are kind of crumbling now.
Well, they
thing.
saved them when Earls moved into that building.
Well, I know, but I went there about a year ago, and they're there in the ground still, but they're kind of crumbling, but it's still pretty cool.
I'd
But
have the
anyway,
REO
so-
Speedwagon instead. I think that's. I got a soft spot for some of that.
It's good stuff.
Did you ever who's the guy that takes care of the rider? Because you used to be a promotions guy and you'd put on
I'm still promoting.
Okay, so you're a promotions guy. Who's the guy who takes care of when the band comes to town and is like, we're not playing unless we get this? Boom, there's a list.
We should explain to the listeners that when you book bands, particularly national bands, of course you get a contract and you're booking with their booking agents. You may know this, but I feel like I should explain a little bit.
Go on.
So they'll
Educate.
send you a few copies of the contract, and it goes over all the standard stuff and the date and everything you've agreed to and the deposit. And then there's a part of the contract called the rider, RIDER, and that's kind of extra of what they want catering wise, dinner, food requirements, sometimes other things, how many towels they want on stage, water. That's basically kind of what a rider is. So that's what
We got a bass player that won't go on stage unless he's had 10 cases of Little Kings.
Well,
you
that's-
guys make it happen.
Yeah, that's and so the rider is part of the deal. And generally, and when you're booking these the national acts, whether you're whatever size, wherever you're booking these things, you will always do what's called advancing the show with the tour manager. So generally, advancing a show, and that's kind of going over specific details or amending the contract and going over the rider with the tour manager. So you'll talk to him, let's say maybe a couple weeks, 2.5 weeks, in that time frame before the show. And at that point, they're on tour and they've kind of fine-tuned what they need in the rider or stuff, and they may say, "Oh, mark all that out. We don't need any of that. We want one bottle of water each," which is always nice. Or they'll add on,
What's the weirdest one that you've
Well,
ever been presented with? Go on.
Give me a sec to think of that. But
Go on.
And sometimes they'll, every night when they're doing a rider, they don't need, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of cases of orange juice because each night they're not going through it all. So that's what you do with the tour manager. You'll advance the show, and that's kind of the getting thing to brass tacks and committing to what you need, or you go back and forth. So that's part of what the rider is. So then generally you'll have someone that you've hired for the day of the show, a runner, which does just that. They may run the band back and forth to the hotel or go get, run errands, or you'll have them go pick up the food, or depending if you're having catering or if you're bringing food in. Sometimes it's real easy. Bands just say, we want $20 a piece. Don't worry about buying us any food, and they can get their money.
Is the person you choose to babysit them, that's a very important decision, isn't it?
I really wouldn't say babysitting.
In some cases.
Well,
because,
perhaps, but...
I mean, if you know someone's a little bit toxic, you're going to be like, all right, I hate to do this to you, but I need you to work this out, and I know you're the one with the most patience, so I need you to deal with these people.
Well, that, and, the day of the show, if they want a runner, the runner's kind of the person that's assigned to run errands to the band. Like I said, run them back and forth, or maybe they want to go to the store or something like that, and generally that's for the, the bigger venues from Kane's Ballroom on up to other, huge venue sizes or festivals, things like that.
Who's your idol as a bassist?
John Entwistle.
John Entwistle.
John Entwistle, the bass player from The who many consider the Jimi Hendrix of bass playing. I could tell you that, or you could check it out for yourself and see on YouTube. There's even, he passed away in 2002, but there's some video where they had the mini camera on his fret, and it's just amazing. Also, John Paul Jones from Led Zeppelin. I like his style. And they're both contrasting styles, but they're incredible.
Entwistle had a custom bass. I can't remember.
He had a huge bass collection.
It had a bird's name, but it was like a special made for him sort of thing. It was a falcon, eagle. It's gonna drive me crazy.
It's musician stuff.
I know. It's like I'm having a flashback from a 1987 Guitar World magazine or some crap. It was like an interview with John Entwistle on one of the Who's comebacks.
But he was just he was he was a real innovator in bass playing, and even to go back, if you listen to the Who's music in the '60s, even from their first release in the mid '60s, it's just his style stands out. And I got to bring him as a solo act to Kane's Ballroom, and not only was it one of the loudest shows that we've ever worked, it was personally cool for me for a multitude of reasons.
How would be a good way of people being on the watch for what you've got coming up? How are you going to disseminate the information?
With Home Groan?
Yes, for like when you have a definite.
How about a cool pre-trailer? Oh, we already did that.
No, but you know what I mean. Like
no. Who are you? What is going on here? Who are these people?
Okay, so the YouTube channel. There's going to be a YouTube channel, and there's going to be a Twitch channel. So
if they'll have us, we'll put it on Facebook.
Right. So that's why I'm asking. So is there a Homegrown Facebook page?
What are you asking?
I'm asking how people can be ready and know when you're ready to do this, when it drops. What's the best way?
And yes,
what's the best way to get you out of that chair before I strangle you with weed twine you?
By the way, I'm glad you brought that up. I can't believe I didn't bring it. Some promoter I am. Some soccer mom promoter I am. So we do have a Facebook page, and I'd love for you guys to come and like it as we're pumping up. We do have a lot of stuff on there from when the show was on radio, but now we're moving towards the podcast phase. It's Homegrown Tulsa, and by the way, that's GROAN, Grown, Homegrown Tulsa. We'll have that up, and then the trailer's on there, but we're that'll be one place. And then we will definitely have homegrowntulsa.com that will have that developed. And we're kind of going to be adding to this as we go along. Just again to get our, you can't see them, but our heavy boots, tip of our boots wet, so to speak. And building from there. But I'm just...
And of course, we'll keep people posted on this channel as well. But
we'll do that here, and thanks to you. And I love working with you, and we're going to be doing a lot of that.
Yeah, you can either I'll make announcements. We'll have something posted on the page, or I'll just if you guys tune in Monday, I'll just go ahead and give you Dave Souders' personal phone number, and you can call him or text him and be like, "You guys, has Homegrown dropped yet?" Because he likes it when you call him direct. Dave Souders, thanks for braving it out in a new world, man.
This is the first hand I've shook in like 3 months. Awesome.
Yeah, we're going to go wash now. You guys, we're going to be right back. We're going to strike the set. It's Friday, Public Access Live and Bed Good Comics coming back next. Stay tuned.
Awesome. I almost forgot I had to shake a hand.
Right.